tests for self-graded except essays. So basically, I know how they did on building multiple choice.
You're still
here. The essays and stuff.
Wait a second.
Change it. So I'm trying to be able to do that stuff.
I don't know.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
To figure out. I'm hoping that it's just like around the table, but
Yeah, they have a bunch of them on that teachers, whatever it is.
we're gonna talk about eco-columns, or for older people, bottle and biology. I mean, it evolved from that, but
Did you have fish in there? I'm sure you're gonna tell us.
yeah, a little bit. Oh man, there's more people than I thought. I was like hoping that I
I'm
could.
just gonna talk to my friends.
And like I said, if you have any questions,
Oh, good morning, Sarah
it's super fast.
and Jason.
Good morning.
All right, we're gonna get started here in a second. Good morning. Oh, can you guys hear me now? Is this better? Okay, thank you, Renee. Good to see you. All right, people are rolling in, and I'm gonna try to do this as best as I can. Here's, you see like this situation. Whoa. Is that better? And for those of you online on the conference website, in the folder for this workshop, there's the papers that I use, if you can find it in there. All right, if you can't hear me, let me know, okay? All right, good morning. So we're gonna get started. Thank you for coming. A little background. I went last summer instead of Ag Teachers Conference, I did the AP Environmental Science Institute, and they kept talking about eco-column. So I was like, what is an eco-column? And this year we were online most of the time, so I did one at my house with my kids to use as a demonstration. I have not done it as a complete class yet. So, but I did it virtually after attending the conference last year. Some people may remember this Bottle and Biology book from a long time ago. I had this on the shelf from my old ag teacher, and I was like, hey, this is like eco-columns. It's just a different word to describe kind of the same thing. And there's some resources that I've used on the tables. We can kind of pass them around if you guys just brief, like look at them, I guess. And I'll pass this one around if you want to flip through it. I also ordered this EcoZone system. There's like 3, it's from Pasco, and there's 3 chambers that way, so they're not tippy. And you can put like, there's a wick, cotton wick that comes with them to transfer each different section, which is kind of cool. So that from Pasco is something I haven't used yet, but I hope to try to figure it out. This was really easy. My 7-year-old and 10-year-old helped build it, and they loved it. And you can use it for all kinds of things. Does anybody do these in your classroom already? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could help like,
Give some testimony.
yes, for like a full class scale.
I've done them as a demo. I haven't done a whole class yet.
Oh, I can tell you all the things that go wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of.
But I feel like, so our AP environmental science teacher, do you do it?
I am environmental.
Okay.
Here, AP environmental in here.
Okay, so she said like, there's always things that go wrong, but you just ask the kids like what happened and why did it go wrong? If a fish dies, put it in the compost chamber. There's a fish down here with an aquatic plant, but I didn't, this fell over like 3 times in the car, so it's kind of messy. So if it happens, they can test with the probes, like who has like the veneer sensors? You can use like temperature probes and soil moisture, and there's the nitrate, nitrate probes and pH. And you can use all the sensors that you have on this project. Maybe not all of them at the same time. The kids can choose. And so in the folder, in the folder on the conference website, you'll see the one that I use. And I let the kids, well, my plan is to let the kids design it. I let my kids pick what we put in there. We found worms and little roly-polies, and we had some grass. My son in his kindergarten class grew grass in a little cup, and this little picture was on it, whatever. So we just moved the grass over, and he loved that. In the middle column, we had some leaves, and when my rhododendron flowers fell off, we just put those in there. So we just used what we had. These bottles came from Walmart. They were, I think, 80 or 90 cents each. They have a handle. They're square and sturdier than the round soda bottle. Yeah, I believe so. And on Teachers Pay Teachers, there's somebody who has all of this Ecocollumns stuff. There's the one of them, there's like a whole bunch of pages. I think it's on. Yes, this one. It's called Ecocollumns Lab, and there's a picture of the buckets from Lowe's. You can download it for free, and then she has all of her PowerPoints and stuff on there available for purchase. I didn't post any of that to the folder to respect her business, right? But you can.
The link, right? For the website.
I will make sure it's on in the folder on my. I think it's in my document. Yeah. But I took some of her pictures and put it on mine. I took some stuff from the AP trainers, like questions that our students reflected on, or my students reflected on, as I was going through this. So I was giving them data just because we were online. And then I just kept adding to it with my kids.
How long do you keep them? Like how long would this unit?
This can last a long time. Like it could go 6 weeks if you wanted it to, or more. So in AP Environmental Science, it's like a long-term project. How long do you guys do it?
Well, I wouldn't say until the fish die, because sometimes it's the first week, but we left them for a long time. And usually the kids, theirs is still sustaining. We just let it go. I mean, some teachers leave it all the way through the end of the year, and then the fish get adopted by the kids. It's great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Where do you actually keep these? Like from those who have done it, like.
So I have 8 lab stations, and so that's where I intend to keep them when I have like 1 per group. Not every kid is. We're not going to do that. That's way too many. So there's 1 per like table of 4.
And they'll stay at that thing.
Or move it to the side. Right.
And if you need to use grow lights, or if you have windows, because you do need light for obviously the top part. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're heating the water at the bottom. And you know, those containers that hold the 2 liter bottles, if you choose that method, that's kind of nice because it gives it a nice secure base to be on. And other people use those metal plant stands that you have in chemistry to be a sustainable, you know, stability piece. So it sort of just depends on what you need for your site.
I can tell you that security in them is important because
Yes.
we're fresh and not promoted. Really, really bad for a few days to get rid of them. So, yeah, I don't do this anymore. It was so gross last time.
Did you totally swear or did you ever round?
I did square.
Did you?
Yeah, but they were being freshmen.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah. For the new people, can you just explain what happens with this eco column? Like what is the purpose of it and why do why are there fish at the bottom and why is the plants at the top, and just kind of explain it.
Sure. So you can talk a lot about all kinds of things, like the different types of cycles. So if you wanted to, when you're talking about like the hydrological cycle, you could talk about the water and like they can see precipitation or the condensation. And I have holes at the top of mine to add a little bit. Mine was right there. I don't to make your own rain to add to the system. And you'll see it like drip all the way through there. And so you can see like what is coming from the soil up here, the nutrients, and how they come down here. And then like asking the kids the question, like if you're talking about photosynthesis, like what gases could we measure up here? And then what would you get? So you could measure oxygen, you can measure carbon dioxide over time and see like what's happening in there and put those in a spreadsheet. I have both oxygen and carbon dioxide sensors from Veneer. So you can get those relatively cheaply. Like those who have taste have probably gotten them for either animal science or plant science classes. And so you can use those to measure that and then track it over time.
Can you give us the links for those where you got those?
Sure.
The Veneer work?
Veneer is, and they're really amazing company to work with. If there's a problem and they can't figure it out, like you can send something in, they'll send you back a replacement if it's something easy. Like I had a lab quest that didn't work and I sent it. We tried to troubleshoot it and sent it back and they just sent me a new one. They're really a really good company. Josh, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we use all our sensors in LabQuest. We had a problem with it. We had a student drop one time and broke the screen, and we just shipped it to them, and they put a new screen in and shipped it back to us. So
That's nice.
yeah. They're based out of Oregon, so they're close, they're local. They're usually here at conference.
I didn't do the column. We did the aquatic ecosystem where we had a fish tank. I did one for a class period called I had a bunch of class I taught them at the school, and we did it where it was like a competition. So it started the whole year, and there was a rubric based on how much outside influence you had to add. You lost points. So the kids first spent the first 2 weeks in our ecology unit designing the system, and then as a class they agreed on everything they wanted to put in it. And it was shocking because at the very beginning of the year, the kids don't think of all the variables. And like we had kids that had entire die-offs, happened way faster than I thought they would. Like one they got to put, like they had all these plants they put in there, system think that was going to be beneficial, and they didn't realize that plants also need oxygen, and just absorb all the oxygen in the water and all the other life died. But it was fun because as they learned, then they could make changes to their system and just dock the points in the competition. And then if their systems had things that died off, they lost more points. If they made it so long, they added points to the at the end of the year, the class had the best score out of each part. It was a whole year-long contest. And it was fun because we could go to different areas and other classes. I can go back and say, hey, remember we talked about photosynthesis? That's why this die-off happened here. Can you explain the concept of what happened, what plants needed to get, or the other life? And so that's something that I like them. I've used a column before, but they just fun teaching both half of it.
Do you still have that rubric? Would you be willing to share the rubric?
I have to grab it now from my. I think it's my old Google Drive from middle school. I think I still have access to it. Obviously, we can pull it up.
If you could, that would be great. Sounds cool.
As far as, I don't, did I answer your question? And there's different things you can put in the different chambers. In the bottle biology book, you can see like different options. And even if you had the kids explore like what happens if you swap these two, like one group could do one way, one group could do another, and then flip it, and then what happens? And then they could compare their data. And there are tons of stuff that could go wrong.
Well, one of the issues I had is when I was first doing it, I used a stand in the middle container, and it's just really it got too heavy and it would unbalance it really.
How did the fish get the oxygen?
So I do have little holes on the side right there, and also have holes up at the top where I could put sensors in. I made little doors so that you could put it in without having to take it all apart. Yeah.
The fish you use typically are like zebrafish, which are, I call them ditch fish because they're super tolerant of low. Yeah. That doesn't mean that they don't know, but you have a better chance of them. They stay small.
Where do you get your zebra?
Local aquarium. Yeah. I have a relationship with the guys. Oh, we only do one fish because it still is a tiny squeeze. Yeah. And we put our fish up in the road thing when they died, and I hadn't even thought about throwing compost. I thought it was just a little bit.
Yeah.
And you said you had a water plant in the bottom too, right?
Yes.
So can you explain what's in each layer?
Sure. So we would put water in this one with an aquatic, or you could put gravel in the bottom to hold in the anchor in the aquatic plant, and then a fish. And in this one, there's some gravel that is in the funnel part of the bottle. Down at the bottom, there's some gravel just for drainage so that the holes weren't getting all clogged up. So I just had my kids go out and just grab some that we had, and then we washed it first. So before we added anything else, we rinsed it all out. So in the caps, there's holes, and I just used a little candle, like a little tea light candle, and we had it on the table. And then I found one of my husband's really small screwdrivers, and we heated it up, and then we poked holes in the lid. It just melted holes. And then I just ran the water through the kids till it kind of cleaned it off. And then we added some potting soil mix that we had that was in one of the containers, and then anything dead leaves or flowers that we had to put on there.
Don't do citrus or banana.
You can put fruit, like old fruit.
Citrus related stuff is more difficult on composting in general anyway, and it can do a pretty dramatic pH change. And fruit flies like crazy. Just saying.
Yeah. And then if you have whatever you put in there, you could have the kids do like a little food web, like draw it out. And then in the top, there's the gravel again for drainage, and then some more of the soil. There's the grass. And then last night, and we had worms and roly-polies and a little beetle. Those escaped in my house. My daughter was like, "Oh, look, a roly-poly!" I'm like, "Oh, I think my kids were playing with it. I don't know." And then that's a banana that we got yesterday on our tour, banana plant. So I just stuck it in there because it's pretty. So that's what I have in there. And then the top has holes on it.
So is that 3 total bottles you'll need per kid?
Yeah, or per group.
And I recommend getting 1 to 2 more because as the plants, if you get plants that are tall, you want to add to that column, but also they screw up on them. Yeah.
The plants grow up out of the top.
Yeah, the grass, like if I didn't squish it down, would have been tall, or if it didn't fall over.
Radish seeds are really nice.
If you guys really like sensors and stuff, I encourage you to get those farm beats. I've been working with Microsoft because their educational group's in Quincy. So we've been piloting the farm beats, which are remote sensors that go through the cloud into your Microsoft Teams. If you're not a Google school, you want to do that. Unfortunately, my school gets oodles and scats of money from Microsoft every year and lots of hardware. Decided to become a Google school because they're stupid and don't understand how the world works. But unfortunately, they still want to do that with me, so we're still doing it. But it is really cool because you have all kinds of different sensors, light sensors. It's got camera, it's got AI. It teaches kids how to use this. It comes through the cloud, get real-time data from your greenhouse. But in something like this, it's even cooler because you can actually see it right there and adapt everything to what you got. So you can sign up for those for free through the FFA website, the Blue Ribbon thing with Microsoft. They're really, really cool. And
Where would you put it in that?
you just actually come on little wires, you just stick them down there everywhere you want to go.
Well,
And then the sensor sits outside?
And kind of going off of that too, so Case is actually partnered with Farm Beats as well now, and they've actually written a curriculum to go with that, and they're piloting that right now. So that will be out soon.
This the last 2 summers I spent a whole lot of time online with the Microsoft people. I got a really cool ugly t-shirt from them last year. The guys that do this think tank stuff, they don't understand life at all, but it's kind of cool because they really want to get into ag. So what they're trying to do is they want to build sensors that they can put like on circles and recognize weeds and stuff like that. And we've been trying to help them. And it's like, it takes 4 million pictures for it to recognize the difference between alfalfa and a big weed. And they wanted me to take all those. I was like, no, I don't have that kind of time to just sit and feel it.
SAE action.
And talking about SAEs, like research SAEs
Yeah,
or
this is-
research projects,
yeah,
you could do
this-
so many things with this. Like for Agri-Science Fair, there's some of the people that were in the Agri-Science Fair. You could turn this into Agri-Science Fair projects so easy. Like just have kids manipulate something. They can collect qualitative and quantitative data. You could talk about that. There's so many different things that you can do with it over the course of time that you have it in your classroom. What other questions do you? Oh, I do have, like, I love foldables. So I like making like little things like this and each color to represent a different chamber. And so before the lab, you could like use the top part of the folds. So green for like the top because there's green stuff up there. Brown, because like composting is like brown. And then the yellow for the, or the, not yellow, blue for the aquatic chamber. So you could have them make observations. And like predictions, like what do you think is gonna happen before they begin? And you could have them do all kinds of notes on the top. And then at the end or as you're going, like jotting down notes on the different colors. So I like foldables and they can keep it easy to identify in their folder or something.
So you don't print anything on that? That's just for them to.
This is for them to write on. Yeah. And if you want to make one, just to remind yourself, I brought paper. So you can make a quick foldable and jot down some notes and what you might put in each chamber, but I would let the kids research and figure it out. And then that's part of like the inquiry too, right? Like trying to figure it out on their own and guide them along with the supplies that you have. They could go outside and gather stuff, bring stuff from home. And you can ask them to bring water too. And some the teachers pay teachers gal will save the water and put them in 5-gallon buckets for that when they add to the aquatic chambers when they're ready.
So you do that to off gas, the chlorine possibilities, stuff like that, so you're not shocking them.
We'll let it sit for a while. Any other questions? If you want to make a foldable, you can, or I'll answer questions. You can pass around the bottle and biology book and the other the resources there. But that's all I really have. You're welcome. If anybody wants a gift, door prize. I don't think they'd miss it.
Found the bottle.
They forget, maybe
Found that
not.
Book on Amazon.
Oh, you did?
I did. I
Awesome.
ordered one already.
Do you guys have any questions? You're welcome. You can email me if you have any questions or yeah, suggestions how I can improve mine.
Perfect. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there's no questions, I'm just going to go ahead and head on out of here. Bye.
Wait, hold up just a second. I was trying to type and I'm not quick enough.
Okay.
What was the sensor thing somebody was talking about? I was having a hard time hearing.
Farm Beats is what they called it. I haven't used Farm Beats. I use the veneer sensors.
Yeah, I have the veneer ones too. I was just curious.
Yeah, so Farm Beats is the new one.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
like, how do you recite letters? All right. So see you guys later.